discussing here was, so if you see here, the function what we wrote was, it just take the number and then it will square it off. Okay, what if I want to do for this entire list of values, right? So you have to do some for loop method, but that is a computationally little bit extension. So what you can do was, there is a one concept called map. What it does was, it will take that entire function, it will take this entire function, it will map, or like it will do for each and every element in an iterable. Okay, so that's the use of map function. So now what I was doing here was, inside a map, first thing was, I need to pass a function. Okay, instead of passing this function, I will write a lambda here, lambda, and what is, I need to pass my arguments, and then I need to do operation was squaring off, correct? And what is my list? My list is LST. Got it? So now if I execute, I am able to get only the map object here. Okay, but I want the results. So I'm converting this to a list values. So if you are able to see, I'm able to get a output as 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square. Got it? So this is the basic use of map. So map, and you can, working with map with lambda together. I hope lambda concept is clear. So just practice one or two examples, you will get that. So basic thing was, you need to remember lambda and arguments followed by colon and then corresponding operation or expression. Okay. So now let's go to map function. So I just gave the overview of the what map does. But now let's discuss this function. This actually applies a given function to all elements in the provided list or any iterable. That's what I said, right? So let me write. It is a function that applies a given function. It takes one function and take that function, and is also one of the functions. This takes another function and applies to all the elements in an iterable, either list or tuple, etc. Right? This is usually helpful when you want to transform the data inside a list or iterable. Okay, so some basic use. This will be useful to transform entire data of list or tuple. Okay, so that's a basic thing. So the one simple example I just given here was, I wrote a square function and I applied this function to each and every element in the list. Okay, that's the thing. So maybe I will write like this is just called a single item.
Again, it was disconnected.
Saying was, now we just understood was with one list or like one iterable. What if I have like a multiple list and I want to do same operation, correct? So how do I do that? So let's say my map syntax will be like this. It's a map, and then it will take like a function. That function I'm doing here was lambda. What I was doing was, I'm just adding these two numbers, right? Working with, how do you work with two lists? So I want the output in such a way that 1 plus 4, which is 5, 2 plus 5, 7, 3 plus 6, 9. Okay, this is what I'm expecting. So how do you do that? So I will just take two values I need, and I just want to do some operation, and I have to pass a corresponding list, which is numbers 1, numbers 2, right? So if I directly execute this one, I will get a map object, correct? Which I won't be able to read, or like I won't be able to get any output in the screen. But if I am converting to again list, right, and then I will be able to see the output. Clear? So maybe you can also assign to any other variable and print that variable as well. So the same thing. Okay, this is with map multiple attributes. Right here, map multiple attributes. Okay, so let's say maybe I'll give one more example. I have like a numbers number list here. Maybe I have in a string format. Right? So I have in a string format. I just wanted to convert this entire thing to numbers. How do you do that? Ideally, I told you, right, we have some functions, input functions, int, str, right, list. These are all directly available functions. So we can leverage these things and convert. So I will use a map because I need to convert each and every element in the list. And what is the function? I just need to call the corresponding function, which is int, and now I have to pass the entire list. Clear? And okay. Now, but if I want to see the output, I will just convert it list and see all these are converted, and which is nothing but here it's the integer type of values. Got it? So this is the one way. And let's say if I have some, I'm doing like a one more example here. I have like a fruits list, apple, banana, grape. I want to convert these things to uppercase. Okay. So how do I get? So we have like an inbuilt attribute called upper, right? So that is available in str package upper. I'm just calling that, and I'm passing my fruits, which is nothing but the entire attribute, and I'm converting again back to list to see like output in my console. See, I'm able to convert everything to that. I mean uppercase. That is how you can do that. You can see this. These are all things what we discussed so far here by inbuilt functions and then a lambda. But you can also call a normal traditional functions. How do you call? So let's say if I'm writing some get name function. So here I just want to return person name. Okay, this is my function. It will take only the person and then it will return a name of the person. Correct? So let's say if I have a dictionary, something like this, people, and I have a people data in a list, right? Let's say I have first row, which is name, and I will write X, Y, Z, and score, let's say 24. Okay, and then I have one more record. I will write in such a way that ABC and 23. Only these two records, right? So now what I need to get was I need to get all the names corresponding in this list, correct? So see previously what we have only I mean only single element, but here a dictionary of list, correct? So how do I get that? So what I was doing was I'm passing this people list and then to list and print. I'm able to retrieve all the names in each and every element. Yeah. So this is a you can call like a normal methods also, not only lambda, not only inbuilt functions. I hope you got like some sense of what is the use of map and how do you write some basic things. Okay. So in nutshell, it is a kind of a powerful function which you can apply transformation to each and every element in any iterable. Okay, it can also be useful for regular functions. It can also be useful for your lambda. It can also be useful for your inbuilt functions, and it can also be useful for multiple iterables if you want to work with multiple iterables, right? So this is about the map function. Any doubts so far?
No, they.
Okay, super. So there's a one more function which is nothing but filter, right? So this is also kind of a function. I mean, it's a very easy to understand. Okay, so let's say I will write just some basic things about the filter. So it is a one function. It constructs an iterator from elements. Okay, construct an iterator from elements of an iterable. What do I mean this statement? Maybe let me explain in different way. An iterable here is nothing but list, right? Saying was now we just understood was with one list or like one iterable. What if I have like a multiple list and I want to do same operation, correct? So how do I do that? So let's say my map syntax will be like this. It's a map, and then it will take like a function. That function I'm doing here was lambda. What I was doing was I'm just adding these two numbers, right? Working with how do you work with two lists? So I want the output in such a way that 1 plus 4, which is 5, 2 plus 5, 7, 3 plus 6, 9. Okay, this is what I'm expecting. So how do you do that? So I will just take two values I need, and I just want to do some operation, and I have to pass a corresponding list, which is numbers 1, numbers 2, right? So if I directly execute this one, I will get a map object, correct? Which I won't be able to read, or like I won't be able to get any output in the screen. But if I am converting to again list, right? And then I will be able to see the output. Clear? So maybe you can also assign to any other variable and print that variable as well. So the same thing. Okay, this is with map multiple iterables. Right here, map multiple iterables. Okay, so let's say maybe I'll give one more example. I have like a numbers number list here. Maybe I have in a string format. Right? So I have in a string format. I just wanted to convert this entire thing to numbers. How do you do that? Ideally, I told you, right, we have some functions, inbuilt functions, int, str, right, list. These are all directly available functions. So we can leverage these things and convert. So I will use a map because I think a function which will let you know whether the number is even or odd. Okay, I'm just doing num percentage 2 double equal to 0, then it will return a true. Okay, so now I have a list of values which is nothing but 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 10, 14. Okay, these are the values. But I just want to filter only even values from this list. How do you do that? So filter, and it will take a function which is nothing but we created here a traditional function called even, and you can pass an entire list here. Okay, so this will give you filter object, but to read it, to get in a readable format, you can just convert that entire object to list, and you will be able to see all the values which are only even number 2, 4, 6, 10, 14. I hope it is making sense. So we can also pass lambda function inside a filter. Okay, so I will use the same list and I want to return the values which are greater than 5 or greater than 6, right? So I will just use filter I need to pass a function that is lambda x, sorry, lambda x if x greater than, let me write 5, and I will pass my entire list. This will give me filter object, and I'm converting that to list and just print it. So based on the condition, I'm able to get the value 6, 10, 40, right? So you can also pass multiple values also. Okay, let me show you. Filter with multiple conditions, right? So here I want greater than 5, and also the x should be even number. So then if I write like this, okay, so here all are even number. Maybe let me write one more even odd number, which is 30, correct? So if I execute, now see, I will be able to get 6, 10, 14 only. But my number 13 is not. Why? Because I put a one more condition there. It should be even number. Okay? So that's why I did not get. This is about the filter function. So you can also pass multiple things. Let's say here you can also pass these things, a list, additionally of list, all those things. You can just practice those offline and maybe go through internet resources. You will get more examples. Okay, so you just play around these things. So this is about like functions and then inbuilt basic functions like math, filter, lambda. I hope it is helpful. So these are very important things for your interview perspective, and then you can also use daily in your when you are doing Python coding or if you are doing any projects on that. Okay, just try to play around these things. Now let's go into one more concept called modules. What I when I say module, right? So in Python, right, whatever we, let's say, let me tell you in a different way. Let me close this. Let me create a new notebook. This is a very important concept, so you need to remember. So there is a concept called modules in Python. Okay, modules and packages. In Python, modules and packages will help you to organize your code and reuse the same code in any kind of a other projects or like anywhere, right? So that's the basic thing. Modules and packages help to organize and reuse the code. Okay. So you can just use like a command, a keyword called import. Import keyword is used to get that function or like a, sorry, not function, get that module in the code. Okay. So I will write like a some inbuilt modules. How can I import it and how can I execute and how can I reuse here? Let's say that there is a one basic module called math here. Okay. So this math is a this math is a package that is available in Python by default. We can import by using import keyword, and then you can utilize it here. Now, if I am writing this math dot surt, let's say 10. What I am doing here was I'm calling the math in package. Inside the package, there is a function called sqrt, and I'm taking a number and just getting the square root of the number. So square root of 10 is nothing but 3.16. Okay, so this is how we can just call the packages in a Python by using a import thing. So how do I know what are the functions are available inside a math? You can just use a dir command, a dir function, which is it will give you like a directory inside the package. So these are all the different functions that are available inside a math package. Okay. So you can use like a some of the log10 function, sine function, scan function. Okay, these are all basic mathematical functions which are available in math package, right? So maybe if I give you some examples, math dot pi, right? What is the pi value in math? It's close to 3.14, right? So in this way, so you can also import multiple functions in a single go, right? Here I'm just imported entire package and I'm calling one by one. But now I can use like a from keyword from math if I want to import only two methods. Let's say sqrt and then pi. Only I want only these two things. I can also do in this way, right? So this is the one way. And let's say if you want to import and all the functions, you can just from math import star. Right? When you do import star, which means that all these functions, right? All these functions you imported into your notebook, and then you can utilize for your coding or not. Okay? So this is about the packages. Now there are basic things that are available. Like in data science, we usually use pandas, numpy, matplotlib. These are all basic things. Okay, so there is a one thing called, you can also write alias. When I say alias, just think like it's a nickname for a package. So you just import pandas, and let's say uh, I think currently they're not available in my system. Maybe I will install. Okay, so I think I used Honda environment class one, right? That's why it is throwing error. Okay, so maybe let me install. For installing any library, you can just use install and the followed by package name. So just install. Yeah. So now if I import again pandas, right? So yeah. So it now imported. Right? In pandas, I have so many functions. Right? Let's say, let me see what other things we have. Ah, there are so many things are available. Right? So let's say if I want to call one function and then duplicate. Okay. Let's say if I want to get this dummy function, I have to write without any alias. I have to write like this, pandas.get dummies, or maybe if I want to call this one pandas.pivot like that, right? And then sometimes if you have like a bigger package name, while writing the code, it doesn't feel like a readable format. So that's why we can leverage a concept called alias. So you can just give like a alias as PD, right? What you are doing here was import pandas as PD, and whenever if you want to call pandas, you can just call with a PD in short form. So I can just call panda pd.pivot. Okay, it is showing error because there will be some mandatory data or like a mandatory parameter that we need to pass. Okay, so this is the basics about packages. Right? Importing modules and packages in Python allows you to same like organize the code and reuse the functionality. So now, for now, whatever we learned is like a default which are exist in Python. You might have asked me, can't we create any package or can't we create any module? You can create it. So we'll discuss that in a while. But before jumping into that, I just want to show you one more concept called uh, standard library, right? So standard libraries is nothing but maybe like let me write here itself. Standard library. Python standard library is a vast collection of modules and packages that combined and that got I mean that the combined and it has like a very extensive knowledge of the uh, packages and modules. So with the wide range of these functionalities only, the Python became so popular. So now let's discuss some of the most common packages and modules are available. So one thing called import array, right? So there's a one library called array. So array is nothing but it will only take the uh, what I can say like similar data types. Okay, so that's one thing we need to remember about the array. And then we just talked about the math as well. So one important thing was random. There is a module called random. So what it do was import random. I will just tell you like a few functions so that what are the things we use in daily life. But you can also just do like a this method like DAR of random. So you will see all the functions that are available inside a random random, right? So usually what we will do is if I want to get any kind of a random numbers between a range, so what I will do is I will just import random. Okay, I already imported. And then now there's a function called randint. Randint will give a integer value that's between a range. Let's say if I'm giving 1 to 10 range, I want like a one random number between this range, it will return. So currently it is returning 1. If I re-execute, it will change. Okay. So this is the one function we will use. Or let's say you have a list of values. List 1, or maybe I will write apple, cherry, grape. But I have these three values and I want to get a random numbers from this list only. Okay, I'm not providing any range and all. So for that, you have a always there is a one more function called choice, and you can just pass this LST. If I execute, see this time I got like a apple, and if I execute same again apple, so now it changed grape, right? So this is the one function which is useful or to get to play around any kind of a random values if you are doing like a testing, right? So usually while doing the testing things, right? So you have to play around with different experiments, different random values. In those cases, you don't need to manually create a values or like create a random number. You can just use these functions. Okay. So that is about random. And then there's a one more function. Sorry, not function. Yeah, there is a one more module or called OS. Okay, so I will tell you why OS is important. So currently there are so many files, right? So if you see, this is my file directory, correct? So if you see, I have a file explorer inside the documents and inside the DS training Megana, inside this class, and inside the class I have all these files. So if you want to access your current directory or like your local files, how do you get? So for that we have a module called import OS. So it will let you know file and directory access of your computer, right? So how do I know the current folder and all? So there is a function called get CWD. It will give like a current working directory, right? If you see currently I am this file, this import is present in a this part. Users, the gradually documents, TS training, and then inside of class 4 it is present. Okay, so this is about get working directory, and you can also do if you want to create a one sample folder. How do I do that? You can just call make dir. So mkdir is nothing but it will create a new directory. Let's say test dir, and if I execute, I think it's created. Yeah. So if you see here, it's created a one empty folder. Okay. So this is how you can utilize this OS commands. Clear? Let's say
Yeah,
if
it's
you
clear.
want to, yeah. So there's a one more module called shuttle. Okay. Import. Okay, let me write here. Import shutil. Okay. Shutil. Okay. So shutil in the sense like if you want to do high level operations on files or like a collection of files, right? You can utilize this module. Okay. Let's say if I have, let me create a one file here. I will write source.txt and maybe I will write this is a source file for testing, right? So what I can do is if I want to copy these things to a name called destination, what I can do is I can just call this shuttle.copy file. Where do I have my data that is present in source.txt, and then I am writing into destination.txt. I execute. Should I use any spelling mistake? Yeah. So which one? So U or C. Yeah. Let me refresh. We execute. See, as soon as I execute this command, there is a new file. It is created which is destination.txt, and then it has the same data what it has in source. Okay. So this is the use of SHTL, the basic things. You can also go through them all the functions which are available in SHTL. Alright. So there's one more package we call as a JSON import JSON. What the use of this JSON is nothing but it will do some serialization. Serialization. When I say serialization, it is nothing but it will take your object and converts into a byte string. Okay, so that we will see. Let's say I have a dictionary here. Data, I will write today and then score 24 something. Okay, so this is my data. What I can do was I just want to convert. This is a dictionary format. I want to convert it into a byte format, which is a string format. Okay, so how do I do that? So I can call this JSON.dump. There is a function called dump. It will take the data. It will dump everything into a serializable format, which is a JSON str. So if you see the format, the data type of this uh, str, it will be class str. Clear? So you might have asked me where can I use these things? Sometimes, I mean, let's say you have a model file, and if you want to convert it into, I mean, you can't rerun the models and all those things, right? What you can do is if you want to save any kind of a models or any kind of a data, which you can give it to any other platform or like any other project or any kind of a productionization system. There you can convert your data and the models into a serializable format, which you can use easily port it into other formats. Okay. So in those situations, this serialization concepts will be useful. Right? So now the JSON str is in a str format. Correct? So now if I print, I will be able to see in a string format. Correct? So if you see it is enclosed with single quotations. That's why it is a string format. It's not any more dictionary. Okay. So you can't call like this way. If I do this one, it will throw error. See, I don't have any kind of a key here. So maybe if I call this one, yes, I'm able to call using my key value. But how do I convert back? You also need to understand how do I convert back to the original format. So you can just, there's a one function called loads, JSON.loads. What it do was it will take the serialized string and maybe I will write JSON data type. See, it's again converted back to dictionary format. I can call here. And then if I call name, I will be able to get my value corresponding to the name. Got it? So this is the one of the basic standard libraries. And yeah, there are a couple of more standard libraries which you need to understand. CSV. So data science people, whatever we work, commonly work on a structured data mostly in 90% when you have like a structured data, like any database data on that. So the common format what you need to understand was CSV. The CSV is nothing but a rows and column format, right? So how do you work with the CSV files in your data, or like in your folders, right? So I have to see whether I have any example.csv. I don't have. Maybe I can also create one here. So I have an import CSV module. What I'm doing was I'm just doing it open here. I will tell you what exactly this width and open in a while when we are discussing with a file handler. But just for now, you can just remember that. Sorry, I'm creating a one CSV file and I'm writing some rows here. Okay, so I will create an example dot CSV, and the mode equal to, I will tell you what exactly this mode when we are discussing file handling. Yeah, currently this mode W is nothing but a write mode. So a new line, I don't have any, I'm not initializing any delimiter here. So just give me new line as empty string. Now, CSV dot, there is a one function called writer, which will write the thing. Okay. Now, this writer will take a file and writer, I'm assigning to writer. Now, this writer dot, I want to write a row. Correct, I don't have any data, right? I'm just writing a row. But it is nothing, I'm initializing with name, age. Okay, 1 second. Right, and then in the next row, I want the data. Correct, I want the data. Or I can call, today maybe I will write 18, something like that. Okay, so now let's see. One, open. Sorry, it's not new line, it's a new line. Okay, yeah, so see, you see, example.csv was created. So first row is name and age, which is our header. Usually we call this as a header in CSV, and the corresponding rows are data. Okay, so this is how we can create. Let's say if you want to read the data from CSV, this is what we have done. We created a CSV and write some data. But if you have a already existing CSV, and how do you get the data, right? Again, with open, you can call example.csv. Now you have to keep the mode is readable mode, okay? And then alias is as file. You can just assign variable csv.reader and file, right? For row in reader, I just calling that row and printing it. Okay. So if you see each and every row, I open my file, this example.csv in read mode, and I call entire thing into this reader object, and I'm iterating over each and every row and printing it. Clear? So this is one of the standard library you need to remember. Now this is one of the very important thing is date time. So always when you have a date time columns, right? So people will create their own formats. Some people will create like a DD, MM, YYY. Some people will create MM, DD, YYY. Or some people will create a date and time format. The time will be in some different format. Okay. Some people will have like a time zones also. Some people will have different things. So to handle those things, we have a library called date time, which will let you know to handle date time parsing, all those things. Okay. So now I just imported that. I will just import from date time, import date time function and time delta. These are the two packages you can mostly utilize, and you can also see like the same way DAR of date time, you will see all the things, or you can also go into official documentation here, date time Python. So you will get like always the Python documentation. So whenever I have a if I want to do new parsing and all, so I will just go through this documentation as per my requirement, and all these things you can see, all the things it is available here. So I always suggest you to go through this whenever you have a time or whenever you have a new requirement where you don't know to convert all those things. Always go through this data official documentation. It has like all the examples on that. Okay. So if one thing was, if you want to get the current time, so you can just write time dot now, right? See, the current time is 2025. The year is 2025, August 31st, and time is 7:49, 16 seconds. These are the milliseconds. Okay, as per my system. Okay, so this I executed in my system, so it will take the current time, right? So when you will use the current time, sometimes what you will do was you will schedule a job and you will try to run on those things on a whenever there is a new request comes into your platform. So let's say today one user requested a data. Okay, so that data you processed it and you want to see and you want to save whether data is successfully processed or not, and you want to save in some table, right? So at that time you need like a current time when the request was processed, right? So you can use datetime dot now here. So this is the one useful thing. You can also let me try in this setting, maybe I will use some readable format. Yeah, see. So I will get a readable format as well, right? So where do I use time delta? Time delta is nothing but if you want to get yesterday's date or like a 10 days back date or like a n days back date, right? You can use like a time delta. Okay. So what I will do is I will assign this date time dot now to now variable. I want to get yesterday's date or like yesterday's time from the present. So I will use time delta. This is a function. So you can always see what are the values it takes, what are the parameters. It will take days, seconds, milliseconds, hours, weeks. Okay. So where if you want two weeks back date, 3 weeks back date, 2 hours back time, all those things also will be possible. So time delta, currently I am doing days equal to 1, which means that it will give my yesterday's date and time. Okay. So if I print this, the yesterday date is 8:30, which is August 30, and the time is same. Okay. So this is how you can use like a time delta. Also, you will have one more method called one more package called time. Right? If you want just get the time, right? You can use like a time. Right? This is in Unix format. You can convert it back to your normal readable format, which is hours, all those things. Okay. Just check in the internet, you will get that syntax and you can convert it. Right. So let's say if you want to stop any kind of a thread or like any kind of a task for 5 seconds or 6 seconds and then re-execute it. Okay, you have a code, 100 lines of code. In that 100 lines, you want to execute the 50 lines and then you want to give like a 10-second sleep time on for your compiler and then you want to execute after the rest of the code after 10 seconds. You can use this time module. Okay, so let me write. I will show you how do you do that. Time. Right, this is the current time and it is printing. Now if I write time dot sleep, there is a function called sleep which will let you know, which will let the compiler to sleep for current time giving like a 5 seconds, right? It will stop 5 seconds and then it will execute the next thing. See, this is the first statement is printed, it will take 5 seconds and then it will print the next line. You see, the time delta is 5, 88 minus 83. It's 5 seconds. Okay, so this is also one of the standard library which we will use. And there is a one final standard library which we often use, regular expression, right? Regular expression. RE is nothing but we are just importing like a regular expression module. So let's say you have a, what is the use of this regular expression? So you can create some kind of a patterns and you can, let's say you have a bigger paragraph and you want to filter out or like you want to check whether the particular string is available or not, or like you want to check whether the number is available or not, right? So in those cases, you can use in the paragraph or like a very bigger document, right? In that case, you can use like regular expressions with some kind of a patterns. These patterns will what it do was it will take the pattern and it will search for the pattern in the document. If there is a match it, if there is a match is available, then it will return a true, and then it will return the particular value also. Okay, so it has like a extensive modules. So let's say it has extensive functions here, right? So if you see, there's so many things: search, split, sub, find all, full match, function tools, all those things, right? So now I will show you one example with such operate, such method. You can also check with this find all also we will use in regularly. So you can just go through your internet and see like what is these things. So I will just explain how do you do with such method. Let's say I have a text here. There are 1, 2, 4 apples. Maybe I will have one more text or one more number, right? So what I want, okay, so both are like double quotations. Let's say I want to text in this text, is there a number or not? All right. So this is a number and this is a number, correct? So to see that, I will use a pattern. These patterns are just you have to learn. Okay, there is no any shortcut. So if I write backslash t, which means that I'm looking for a digits in the text. Okay, and followed by any text. When I write plus followed by anything. All right. So if I initialize like this, now re dot search, and I need to pass pattern and then followed by the corresponding data. And if there is a match, I will take that match and then I want to print. For printing in a user group, see, I'm able to get my first occurrence of the this pattern, which is 1, 3, 4, 5, 4. Okay, so it will return only the first occurrence of the thing. Okay, so this is also one of the important module you have to learn. You can just go here, import or like RE Python, and to see the different maybe if you can go through this W3 schools, you will get direct patterns. Okay, this is one of the pattern, right? What it will do was it is searching the sorry the Spain thing, the Spain string is exist or not in this text. Okay, so you can also see these are the top things. Find all. What it will do was it will return a list containing all the matches. So if you see here, search will do the corresponding thing and then it will return the first match, right? But if I want to get 4, 5, 6 also, I can use like a find all here, right? So these are the different things you can useful. So I wrote plus, right? What I mentioned was I need like a one or more occurrences, right? So that's about the characters you need to remember. And yeah, I can also use slangs here. You can just go through this document or like this URL, you will be able to play around with this. Okay, cool. So any doubts on this standard library?
No, they.
So one thing was what we need to so far I did not tell you. One thing was I told you, right? So we can also create our own packages which you can install, or people will create a multiple packages, right? So the pip install thing, right? So you can also create your own package. How do you create a package? So for that, let's say if I'm creating a folder here. Okay, so there's a once again. Yeah, so there is a one thing you need to remember was, one second, this is no Jupyter. Yeah, I'm gonna create a one special pack, like a special file here, which is init.py. Okay, so init.py, and I'm not writing anything. Okay, you can use like this is a placeholder. Okay, if you ask me what is the use of this init.py, right? So init.py will let you currently this directory. What is this? The directory or like a folder name is package, correct? So as per your understanding, currently it is only a normal folder. Okay, let's say if I want to create this folder as a Python package, I definitely need a function or like a a file called init.py. So this is a special file in a Python packages which let this folder as a Python package to the compiler. Okay, so this is the main purpose. The directory, the main purpose is to treat a directory as a Python package. Okay, this is the main purpose. So without it, your Python Python wouldn't be recognized a directory as a package. So it will just like a normal a file. A normal folder in your file explorer. Okay. Now since I created this init.py inside a package folder, so what I can say was this package is not a normal folder. It's a Python package which you can import in other anyway. Okay. So now let's see, how do I do that? Maybe if I write a, let me remove this here. Let's say if I'm creating one more function, maths, okay? So in this maths, I'm just creating a two functions here, addition, a comma b. What this function will do was it will take a comma b and it will return a plus b, right? And then I will also add sub function or like subtraction a comma b and then return a minus b, right? So this maths.py is a package which has like a two modules or not modules, two functions, right? So now this entire package is not a normal folder, it's a Python package. So how do I know whether this is a Python package or not? Let's say if I'm creating a one Jupyter notebook here again, let's say custom module. I'm creating a custom module because we just want to see like whether this package is able to import or not, right? So now what I can do was import package. See, I'm not able to get any error, right? So I'm able to see like a success message, and I want to see what other packages are available inside this module. See, I'm able to see. One second, it should contains maths. Okay, let me try this one. From package import maths. Yeah, so I'm able to import from the package. What is the this package is a name. Okay, it's not like a package. Okay, so we have like a maths package. I'm able to import it. Now let's say if I want to call some function which is subtraction, which is sub here, and 2 comma 3, right? See, I'm able to get a return a minus b, which is 2 minus 3 minus 1. So this is happening because of the custom package. If I remove this init.py, let us assume if I am removing this, so it will definitely throw error. See, now it is a normal folder. If I import, maybe let me restart the kernel. Let's say if I am doing this one, it should not do. Okay, maybe it was available in cache, that's why it is still recognizing as a package. But ideally, let's say if I am importing this test here, okay, let's try, because it doesn't have anything now. So test dir. One second. I think maybe it's because of some Python version also. Yeah, so basically after 3.3 or like some version, it is not mandatory to create your init.py, but it's an option. Okay, after some version, I just wanted to see what is the version here. Version Python. Okay, version is not defined. Python dot. It should be greater than 3.3 once again. Complete. Okay, so let's execute these two things. I just wanted to see what is the Python version. Yeah, it's a 3.1111, right? Yeah, that's the reason. So basically, after 3.3 or some version, they made like a default one without any kind of a init.py also. You can treat that as a package, but it's always good to keep like a init.py, or else like there is no basic difference between your Python package and normal package, right? So in production grade applications, so it's always good to write in.py so that other team members or like a entire uh, other function or like a other teams who is utilizing your modules, right? So they will get to know this is a Python package rather than normal package. Okay, so this is about the basic things you need to understand about the custom package. How do you create a custom package and all those things. Clear? Any doubts so far on the module? So we will just go with one more concept called file handling. I hope you don't have any doubts so far.
Yeah, I have no doubts.
Okay, so let me go and see file operations. What are these file operations, right? So file handling is also one of the crucial thing in any programming language, not only Python, anything. So Python will also provide you a built-in functions and methods to read the data from the files and write to the files both in text and binary format. Okay, and we'll see like how do you read those things and all those things, right? So let's say if I want to read a whole file, okay, so I have this source.txt, right? So maybe I will just open source.txt in a read mode as file alias, and I want to read entire content of the file. Okay, I will just use file.read. Maybe I will assign this back to content and print content. Okay, see, I'm able to read entire data what is present in the text file. Right, this is about the reading the whole file. Let's say if I have one more line here, source file, another line for testing. Okay, so if I re-execute here, I will be able to get entire data at a single time. But if I want to get line by line data instead of entire thing, so you can use one concept or like one method called line.strip. Okay, read a file line by line, right? So I'll just use the same syntax or like the same code. Now for line in file, so this has entered thing, right? So but I want to read in a line by line method. Print line dot strip. What it will do, what the strip method, it will remove the new line character. Okay, remove the new line character and it will print. So this is printing in a for loop and line by line. Okay. So this is about reading a file line by line. Now, how do you write it? So I want to write something into the file or write to the file. I will open in a write mode and I want to write file dot write third row for testing. Okay, so it should be double, sorry, my bad. Yeah, so file dot write mode and then I just wrote third row for testing. Let's see if my this data was written into the file or not. See, it removed entire thing and then it was it written a new data, correct? So this is what expected as per your write method. But let's say this is called overwriting, right? When you use the simple write function, what it will do was it will do overwriting of the entire data. Let's say if you don't want to overwrite and you just want to add one more line, correct? So that is called append method. Okay. So we have a one more mode called append, which is A. This is appending a row for testing. Now see what will happen. This is called without overriding, right? So now if I open, see, I'm able to see one more thing already appended here. Okay, I did not place any kind of a new line character, nothing. That's why it was just concatenated on the line. Let's say if I am re-executing, okay, let's say some placeholder if I am giving this character, let's see what it will be. So start. See, it was added to new line because I've added a new line character at the start. Correct. So now compiler will understand that I need to insert a row and then I need to add the this data. Yes. So this is about the writing or like a reading the data without any overwriting. So just like doing the append. Let's say this is writing in a line by line or like you have some data. Let's say you have a data in a list format. I have a list. I have this way first line, let's say second line, and third line. Okay, let me remove this space or else it will create a space also. Yeah, so I have a data in this list format. How do you append all these things, right? So I want to create a 3 lines. I can't create like a file.write, file.write, file.write 3 times, right? So you have a data in list format. You can just call this thing in the append method. There is a one thing called file.write lines. Yeah, these write lines will use, it will take that list and then it will append it. Okay, so now if you see it was added. Okay, since I did not provided that new line character at the first line, so it was appended to the existing line and then all other 2 lines it was added to the new line. Okay, so this is about the writing the lines, list of lines to a file. Yeah, so this is about the file operations. And then there's a one more thing called you can create a binary method, all those things. Binary files also you can handle. These things in real world mostly you won't utilize in data science. So but just for learning purpose, maybe you can keep this. Let's say if I have a data here, I have a binary data. Binary data is nothing but ones and zeros, right? Okay, so let's say I have a data something like this 00 x 01 02 x 03 x04. Okay, this is my data. I want to create a one file here, example.b. Binary files will have like a the it will end with like a dot b, and then I'm just writing in a type mode, and then it's a binary file. So that's why I need to open in a write binary mode. And as file, you can just write file dot write pass the data. It will just create a binary file. Okay, so it's created, but we won't be able to read this. Okay, it is not in a readable format. Okay. So this is about the writing the binary format. So similar way, if you want to read, you can just use like a RB. RB will let you know to read the data, right? So file dot read when use contained and just print that, right? So you will be able to read the same data. These are the basic things you need to understand. Any doubts so far?
No, they.
Yeah, so this is about the file operation. So I will just wind up with some one example. Let's say sometimes you will get like you have a text file, right? Let's say this is my text file. I want to see how many lines are available, how many words, how many characters in the text file, right? So that example I will tell you, and then maybe you can also practice other examples which you have. You can look over the internet and then see. Okay. Let's say currently what I'm doing was read a text file and print count of lines, words, characters. This is what I need. So for that, what is the file thing? What is the thing I need? I have a file path which is a source.txt, right? I'm trying to create a function here which will take my this file name, and then it will open in a read mode, and then it will give the all the line count, word count, and character count. Okay, let's see how do I write. So count text file. I will call this file path, and I want to do first. I need to open the file, right? So open in read mode as file. So now I open. I need to read entire data. So but I have to read in a line by line so that I will get the content and what other things are available. So file dot read lines. Now I have entire lines here. Now I want to get lines. What are the total lines? So there is a function called len. So previously also we discussed. So it will give me the line count. And then from each line, I need to get a how many words are available, correct? So I will use here list comprehension. This is nothing but for the line in lines. I'm iterating over each of the line in the entire line, and I'm reading that line, and I will use a function called split, which will break your entire line into different words at a delimiter of space. Okay, this is what I will get, and then I just need to count this length, right? Now what I will get? I will get only the line count for one line. Okay, so but I want to count for all the words, right? So in that case, maybe I will use sum operation, so which will give word count, right? Similarly, you can use like a character. Okay, so for character, you don't need to split, right? You can just count all the characters. The same for line in lines. You just need to count all the characters in the line, which is nothing but len of line. But you want to do this for all the lines, so that's why you use sum char count, right? You will just return line count, word count, char count. Okay. Now this is my file. I will just call this function, send my file path name, and I will get lines, words, chars, characters. Okay. If I'm printing, maybe I will use that string for a readable format. Lines equal to lines, and words equal to words, and characters equal to cats. 1 second. Okay, I did not close the quotation. Yeah, see. In this file, I have 4 lines, 16 words, and 107 characters. Let's see. So first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and then count number of words are 16. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So characters also will be same, so you can count it. Yeah. So this is one of the example about file operations, or again, how do you handle the file things. Any doubts? I hope it is clear.
Yeah, it's clear, Uday.
Okay.
I'll be
Super.
practicing it practicing it tonight, and if there
Yes,
are any doubts, I can just
exactly.
again we
So
can
today
just
we
come to them.
discussed, we discussed many things like modules, filter, lambda, and map
Filter,
function.
map.
Yeah, and how do you create a custom modules, right? So this custom
Okay.
modules is also very important. Just practice it. Okay,
Okay.
when you are writing modularized code, you will feel that one. So we will write those things and all. And this file operations is very important. When you want
Okay.
to read files which are exist, sometimes you will have like a .env files, which is environment variables, which we will create in a end-to-end project. Those things you will understand. Why do we
Okay.
need these file operations? Okay.
Okay.
So